Hello from the lab. This is Jay Appell. Good morning wherever you are in the world. Today it is February 20th in the year of 2020, so it seemed only appropriate to release the next version of the EZ tools. So I present to you today EZMBR version 20 and EZEFI, and I'm going to take you for a tour and show you how it works so you'll know how to do it. We're going to start with the EZMBR, and the first thing you need to know is this little symbol here means that we're going to have to right-click it, and you must run it as administrator. If you don't run it as administrator, it's not going to work. So I'm going to right-click it and say Run as Administrator. Now, as soon as we do that, in order to better support the tool, and it's really dwindled down to almost no support these days because people have been using it. Here is the new look. Yay, ooh. Well, this is EZMBR 20 for the drive recovery, and I took the mundane blue and red and the different colored backgrounds. Thought I would put a nice little graphic in the back there. It kind of looks a little surreal and peaceful. And the whole idea of the tool is to make your job easier when it gets to the point where you're going to deal with something that is potentially difficult, and that's making the drive recovery tools. So here's the build number up here. Here's a link to where my YouTube channel is and about this program. Over here we have some simple menu items, and when you execute this program, it's going to create a folder on your desktop called McAfee. I'm going to open this up so we can keep an eye on it as we're doing this. And everything, whether it's the EFI tool or the MBR tool, I build upon what's going to be in this directory structure. So we're going to choose the EZMBR section. And this is where most folks go. But we have a build menu where you go in and just select a particular version that you want, and it will build within 1 minute. Here's the standalone tool with the emergency boot functionality. If you wish to customize your version that you have, then you can use this particular selection. And then lastly, the internet options that will actually connect you out to other tools such as the ADK. So let's start off with the ADK. You're going to need this on your machine when you actually run this program. So you're going to select Internet right here. Just choose this last option. And then you're going to select the very first item here, which is the Microsoft Developers Kit version 10. You're going to need to install 2 components. And if you don't install the 2 components, well, it's just not going to work. So we're going to click on here so we can say that we did it together. And this is the window that's going to pop up. Download and install the Windows ADK. There are different versions. You can use the very latest. Now this link right here, download the Windows ADK for Windows 10 version 1903, is just the ADK, just the developer's kit. We need the PE piece of it because we're going to make a WinPE recovery. So you're also going to need to download and install this after you install this. So remember, you have to download both. In previous versions, you would get it all in one little kit and caboodle wrapper, and you didn't have to worry about it. Okay, so we already have this, in fact, installed. If you want to take an ISO and convert it over to a USB stick, you can use this, or you can use the old reliable Rufus, which also does the job. And that's beyond the scope of this video, so you can go out to YouTube and see how that works. But it's pretty straightforward. We're going to head back to the main menu, and we're going to select the EZMBR. And here are all of the versions. Now I've cleaned this up. There were some older 7.0, 7.1, and frankly the payload was getting a little large. So I made a decision to take it out. Now if you need an older version, then keep the EZ tool that you have from previous versions. They'll have the older versions, but I just did not want to maintain such a large payload anymore. And here's the new version, 7.2.9.14, so now you have everything in one little wrapper. Down here at the bottom are for the IT professionals that want all of these versions to be built. And all you have to do is simply click on ISO Masters and it will build everything. So let's go ahead and just build the latest version. We click on that. And it says, at this time, you can provide your own background image. A bitmap with a resolution of 1024 by 768 is ideal. Would you like to browse for a custom bitmap image for the background? Sure, let's do that. Okay, so I put a custom pack version. This is my master pack. And when you open it up, you have MBR, UEFI, and here's the custom pack. And browse to a custom bitmap package. So I'm going to go to MBR. And I like a black background. Backgrounds. And let's pick this little hacker guy sitting right here. At this time, you can provide your own backup image. So I'm going to say yes. All right, so I'm going to go to the custom pack, MBR, black background, and grab our little hacker guy. At this time, you can provide your own start bar. Sure, let's do that. And I'm going to go back up one level, and here are the start buttons. Let's choose the, let's take the little key here. Great. Place the machine recovery XML file in the desktop McAfee key store folder. I'm going to close this. Now you'll notice that the folder structure has expanded a little bit. If you wanted to at this time, you could take the machine that you're having problems with. You could export the machine recovery key and place it into the key store folder right here. There's nothing here. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to do something you hadn't been able to do before. When you bring up your EZPE recovery tool on the machine that has a problem, the recovery key will already be in the utility. So now you don't need a separate USB stick to go look for it. You can put as many here as you'd like. I don't have any, but this is where you would put it. If you don't put anything in here, it's going to check it anyhow. It's going to find it's empty and it's going to continue. And that's it. Now the rest of it, down on the bottom of your toolbar, at the very bottom, which we don't see here, you will see a command prompt that is minimized. And if you open it, you'll see all of the goodness taking place. These are all the things you would have to do manually. And we do it in the tool. I mean, that's what computers are for. Let's have some automation and let's make your life as easy as we can. Thus, when I name the tool, we call it the Easy Tools. Sometimes the window will close, reopen to do something else. This is where it's actually looking for the files. It's going to bring it into the utility, the Microsoft Developers Kit, and do all that work for you. Okay, now we're saving the image. We're going to unmount it. It's been about 45 seconds now. And that's it. All done. It's a lot easier to use the tool than it is to do it by hand. Why reinvent the wheel? And we're going to open up this McAfee folder again. And there's an ISOs folder there for you. And there it is. All done. What do you say we use it? Now, if I chose ISO Masters, it would generate an ISO just like this one for all the versions, and then you wouldn't need to use this tool again until the next version comes out. Don't forget there's also a standalone menu where you can put your floppy in, if you have a floppy anymore, but more than likely have a USB stick. You put the USB stick in there. It's going to ask you for a drive letter, and presto changeo. Within literally under 4 seconds, your USB stick will be bootable, and you can actually come in and use the emergency boot function. Let's switch over to the virtual machine now and use our new ISO. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my VMware workstation, and I'm going to edit the virtual machine function. This is how I do my simulation, and I'm going to have it start a power on my CD DVD, and I'm going to browse over to the McAfee ISOs folder, and there it is. We'll choose open, and then we're going to say OK. Let's go ahead and start the virtual machine up. Okay, press any key. This would be your USB stick that you would be inserting and booting up your machine that's in question that you want to do the drive recovery on. Okay, there's our custom start bar down in the lower left-hand corner, and there's our little hacker guy in the background. We're going to go down here, and we're going to click on this, and this is actually your start bar. Now you can make your own. I just provided some in there for this. I'll make sure I put the kit up there as well, but you can put your own graphic to make a start bar. So what do we have here? We have shutdown. That will do the obvious. Talks about what's in here. Have a run, so you can go to the command prompt. It's a very trimmed down environment, so we can do what we need to do. You're not going to use menu, but it's there. You can change the resolution. Here I'm going to display a black font on the background information. Well, I already have a black background, so what does this mean? Let's put a white font on the background information. Well, there's information there that doesn't get painted automatically, so I'm going to click this, and it gives me the IP address, the gateway, and everything here in my environment. It's very important to understand that if you put a LAN jack into this machine, I actually check for it. I want it to be alive. So this machine is actually going to allow you to mount a directory on your network, maybe a server where you want to back up all the information. So you're going to do that, and why put it on a drive local to the machine when you could use a folder to restore it to on your network? So your machine is actually alive. So we click on the EZPE start bar here. Go on up here to the McAfee tools. You'll notice here that we have the OpalTech, the EETech, otherwise known as the Tech tools, otherwise known as the drive recovery tools. And unless you have an Opal drive, you're going to use and choose this version up here. Now this is only available on the MBR version, but you'll see the code generator here. You would normally need to run this separately. You can't do this in the EFI version because this tool is fundamentally a 32-bit utility. So we're going to click on that, and you'll notice today we have different code for every day, all year long. So the code is 1452. I'm going to go back to the start bar, go to McAfee Tools, and bring up the Tech tools for this version. Now this machine is not encrypted, which is why we're seeing this message. And this is what you would see similarly if you had a machine that wasn't encrypted. We're going to choose OK and just go through the motions here. This section up here on the right hand side is the authorization where you're going to put your code of the day or the Tech code generator date and code. Let's go ahead and click authorize. And for this date, we're going to enter 1452. Now let's do something crazy and enter the wrong code. And when we put in the wrong code, it says the authorized code you have provided is incorrect. Let's go ahead and put the right code in here. And you'll notice it says authorized. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is the first part of the authentication that you'll need to do. And then over to the left-hand side, we have to choose whether it's a token, meaning it's a user token. If we click on it, again, this machine does not have any disk encryption, but you would see a username box pop up, and you could use the approach to using a user's username. Now, why would you do that? Because maybe you don't have the other piece here, which would be the XML file, which is the machine recovery XML file. If you don't have that, you would have no other choice but to use a username login. When this becomes authenticated, then what will happen is you're ready to go. Go to the tools. You had any use for using these, but more than likely you're going to go here and use the A56 file utility or Explorer++, bring that on up, and then you can actually map if you like, there's also a mapping function here. And I put this in here because I inherently like to save a little time and do things properly. Is now you can map a network drive and take the contents of this now strangely not working drive that's encrypted and copy the contents of the user data over to the network drive, and then you can furnish that back to the user. So you'll probably want to use this and get acquainted with it, but it's saved me a lot of time. And there you go. There's your walk through the park with the EZPE tool. This is the MBR version. Next video will be on the EZEFI. That's it from here. I'm Jay Appell in the SOC. Have a good day.